What up, y'all? It's your boy R to the A to the S. Yes. Roz here with Proceed with Caution Blog. And today we have a familiar face, second time on the show. One of my most popular interviews I did with a Christian rapper. And that is the rapper, one and only, Mr. Relentless Forever. R4. That's right, Viktory. What's up, Viktory?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Got about 3 questions for you.
Let's get it.
All right. First question I want to ask you. I don't know if you've seen on the news as far as like with Creflo Dollar and his daughter. Allegedly, well, if you haven't heard, allegedly he was accused by his daughter of a physical assault. So he was arrested and he's released on bond. This happened yesterday. And so, of course, big controversy going on right now. But I wanted to get your thoughts as far as what do you think is the line between discipline and physical abuse? Because a lot in our communities, I mean, you might see a mother punching a child in the chest. You think of the old Bernie Mac joke hitting somebody in the throat. It just, is there a line, and what is that line between physical abuse and discipline?
Well, first off, shout out to the D. We back in Detroit again. I love y'all. I love every time I come here. Shout out to Word of Faith International. Amazing event tonight. Shout out to Proceed with Caution Blog. We appreciate the love too. First, I want to know, what did they say Creflo did?
Well, allegedly his daughter accused him of choking her, punching her, and hitting her with a shoe. Allegedly, the daughter said she was trying to go to a party.
It's not funny, man. It's not funny.
But I guess he had to try to physically restrain her, and so that's what.
See, I have daughters.
Right.
You know, I have small daughters, but I know what it's like, man, when you think your daughter out there, and you know, he's Creflo Dollar, and who knows what she may have been doing in the streets, or may have been trying to get into in the streets. And he may have lost it. You know, I'm not saying he did it or didn't do it. But, you know, he may have lost it and was like, you are not finna be tarnishing my name. You know what I mean? I done spent all these years, blood, sweat, and tears, building this ministry and developing a name. Of course, he's had his issues already, but developing the name that he does have, and then she just goes smoke some weed and tear it up or get pregnant. Not to say that getting pregnant is the end of the world, but you know what I mean? Just something that would bring him in a negative light, which ironically happened anyway, but so I can understand how somebody in his position, with knowing the type of pressure that being that well known can bring, especially when you have a seed that might be out there bad, and him trying to, you know, fall into the temptation of trying to control that, if he did it. To answer the question about I just laugh because black families, man, you know, getting hit with a shoe ain't no reason. You know, for me, growing up in that house I grew up in, if I got hit with a shoe, I wasn't gonna call the police.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But to answer the question directly about, you know, I think it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of preference. It's a matter of your paradigm on the issue. Like, if you think that physically harming a child is wrong, then don't do it. I mean, physically spanking, or not harming, but spanking or using any type of physical force for discipline is wrong, then don't do it. If you think that, because, you know, there's an argument for the fact that the psychological pressure that we put on children, you know, a lot of times people will use things like humiliation. And it doesn't even have to be severe humiliation. It could just be as simple as, why would you do that, Billy? You know what I'm saying? Or why would you do that, Sean? You're so, you know, that's so wrong. Just the psychological pressure of that could potentially produce adverse effects in the child's thinking. So I'm not, it's a preference. I don't know that spanking is necessarily, should be absolutely ruled out across the board, but I also don't know that psychological attacks are better. You know, so, you know, it just really comes down to what God is telling you. Pray about the thing, pray about the issue, and find out what the Lord is leading you to do and how to raise your children. You know, so I got spankings, flat out. You know, when I was raised, growing up, my mother took a belt to me, my father took a belt to me, and I don't think because of that I am damaged. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I think it saved me from a lot of the fear of the potential punishment. I mean, if you really think about it, whether you believe in hell or not, you know, God punishes. You know what I'm saying? God even used death at times to show people right from wrong, causing them to lose their own lives or loved ones near them. David lost his firstborn because of sin.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's a hazy issue. I just say seek God for answers.
Okay. Want to switch gears, talk about business aspect of Christian hip hop. What would be your advice to, let's say, a new artist? And I'm gonna throw out a number. If you can tell me if this is not a good number or not, but let's say I'm a new artist. I've saved up maybe $3,000, and I want to put together an album. What would be your advice as far as a budget? And how should I prioritize the way I spend my money? Should I spend it mostly on promotion? Should I spend it in the studio, distribution, guest artists, maybe try to get the top producers? What would be your advice as far as how to prioritize my money if I'm just a new artist, fresh out and I save some money?
Well, first off, I just put out an album with a lot of guest artists on it.
Okay.
And I didn't pay for those artists. You know what I mean? Those are relationships that I have. Cats who wrote, if somebody wrote a hook for me, I paid them. But artists that did their verses and that type of stuff, no money exchanged.
Okay.
For the R4 album. So my advice, and I say that to say, it depends.
Okay.
Where you spend your money is so many ways to do this, and it all really depends on where you are as an artist and what your weaknesses are and your strengths. If you're a brand new artist, there's just so many different types of brand new artists. You got the brand new artist that has great marketing, but the music isn't there. You got the brand new artist that has great music, but the marketing isn't there.
Right.
Has a great brand, but the lyrics aren't there. Has great lyrics, but the brand isn't there. It varies. So it's no spend your money on marketing and spend your money. The few things, what I can say is there are a few things that you cannot sacrifice if you want a solid product. The first is you need a team of individuals that give you brutal and honest feedback.
Okay.
And they probably shouldn't be your close friends. It should probably be some objective people who don't care about hurting your feelings.
Right.
People you don't deal with on a day-to-day basis, but you send them your music or you send them, and you're not just looking for the pat on the back. You're strong enough to take constructive criticism. First. Find a point of reference musically to compare yourself to that's not in the Christian rap genre and that's not in your local circle, but that's on the mainstream level. Find somebody, Drake, Jay-Z, whoever, that you play their song, then you play your song. You play their song, then you play your song. And you be honest about not the content, but just the sonic value, lyrically, beats, all that. How are you comparing? If you're not comparing at all, be real about that and figure out ways to fix that. Mixing and mastering. This is the biggest weakness in Christian hip-hop music, period.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? Mixing and mastering. And then the second one is talent. But the first one is mixing and mastering before the talent. I made this mistake. If you go listen to some of my previous albums, the mixing and mastering was lacking. I corrected that mistake. Shout out to my boy Fidel who really called me out on that. But mixing and mastering is something that can't be spared. So if you're gonna spend money somewhere, spend money on high-end quality mixing and mastering, not high-end quality mixing and mastering. Do your research and find out what good mix and mastering is. Develop an ear to understand what a good mix is, what good mastering is, so you know what quality sounds like. I think that's a huge weakness. We don't know as a genre. We don't know what quality sounds like. I've heard mixes come out of labels, out of independent artists that sound absolutely terrible. And the fact of the matter is because they don't know that it's terrible. You know what I mean? We don't know how to listen to a good mix. So that's another thing that I would say. The other thing that I would say is if you don't have the money to do something, don't do it. Don't put an album together just to put out an album, but you're cutting corners at every turn. If you only got $1,000 to put together an album, that's probably not enough. Put together a single.
Okay.
Take that money and invest it in a single. Go get a $500 beat from a really good producer. Go get $500 mixing and mastering from a really good engineer, and do it that way. Don't try to do 12 songs for $1,000. I'm gonna get some beats on SoundClick because your album gonna sound like SoundClick. Even if people buy it, it sounds like SoundClick. So if that's not what you want, don't do it. So I would say mixing and mastering, being patient, and making sure that your music you're maximizing your dollar, and praying, going before the Lord, and making sure that whatever it is that you're doing, God has actually led you into that, because we got a lot of self-proclaimed gospel rappers that really, man, if all the gospel rappers that promoted themselves into gospel rap positions or whatever stopped, the genre would probably be better off, because it would be only those that God has led to this, that he's given a heart for, that he's given a message, that he's given the skill and equipped. Scripture, Philippians 2:13 said, it is God that worketh in you to will and to do. And to do is to say and to perform, or and to act out. And to act out, if you're going to carry out something, the equipment necessary to carry that out is also provided in the and to do that God said he would do. So those that God sent to a particular place, he sends and equips. He sends and to do. He gives them the ability and the desire to do it, and then gives the ability to actually perform it. So I say all that to say, if it ain't working for you, it's probably God may not have sent you. You know, you may have sent yourself. And those that God has sent, he also has equipped, and you can see the difference.
Then lastly, I want you to plug your products. Plug
rforever.com, man. Hit up rforever, R4, the number 4, EVER.com. New album, R4 Relentless Forever, out right now. You can get it at Mardell. Hit up bestbuy.com, Family Christian, iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, wherever you get your music. Or you can hit up rforever.com. I got it there. A little bit cheaper at my website, so come get it from me if you want to. And at Viktory R4, Viktory R4 is the Twitter. So come get at me there. And yeah.
All right. Thank you, Vic. This is Proceed with Cross the Blog. Kobe Sutts, Skip Bayless Sutts, and I'm out. Triples.
LeBron, Wade.